Hi, Janelle here with Blakely Interior Design, and we are here with our 8th episode of Design Dish, where we answer design questions. Today, we are talking about making design selections as part of our Your Design Project mini-series. If you're like many people, most people jump right into picking items. They start sourcing, they go online, they go into the store, and they start to find things that they love. But if you've been following along in our mini-series, you will find that we have already had 3 other steps before this one. We needed to find inspiration and understanding of what ethos we wanted in that space. What's the look and feel we want in the space? Then we needed to space plan and make sure that we knew exactly how many pieces and what scale they need to be. And then we needed to determine a budget. Nobody wants to go through this process, get halfway done, and then run out of money. So those 3 steps are really important, but once we get through that and we know how many pieces we need, we know what size they need to be, and we know how much money we're willing to spend on them, then we get to the really fun part. So today we're talking about design selections, and my recommendation is to really find one piece that inspires you. As we talked about in one of our previous episodes, episode number 5, I believe, we talked about finding your inspiration. And sometimes you find one piece that really inspires the entire room. That doesn't always happen, but it does in many cases. And that's when it's really a great way to have that as a jumping off point. For example, I found this rug that I loved for a project. This was from the Caitlin Wilson website. There's a large print of it if you go to her website. It's really beautiful. I fell in love with it because, one, the color palette is just so me. I love this with the blues and the pinks, and then has touches of gray and some other warmer brown tones, kind of taupey browns in there as well. And I fell in love with this. So I knew for one of my design projects, this was the inspiration piece that I wanted to use. When you find an inspiration piece, whether it's a piece of artwork, a rug, a fabric that you want to use as a drapery, something, that's the jumping off point for the rest of the selections. Many people will say start with the big pieces first, buy the sofa first. And that can be okay, but as a designer, I like to find pieces that really make me happy and really move me emotionally. And that's what I try to do for my clients as well. So if you're able to find an inspirational piece that's the jumping off point, then that's great. That's going to inform the rest of your design selections. For this piece, designing it, I know if I want to keep the room really light and airy, I'll probably go with a mid-tone or a light drapery and a sofa fabric. I pulled this one just to show you. It is fairly dark, but I have, if this were for me, I have children. I probably wouldn't want to do in this particular fabric a really light fabric, but I could keep it very light with lighter pillows and lighter draperies, and so you can kind of balance, as well as perhaps a really nice light gray wall color. It looks really pretty together. So that's how you would find something or design with an inspirational piece. If you don't have something that inspires you and you just have an understanding of that feel that you want in the space, that's okay too. Start with that inspirational photo and then start to shop. I recommend starting online. Start to pin pictures to a board specific to that room. You're gonna start to see how everything starts to feel together. And then you're gonna start to play with it, and you'll realize some things are visually too heavy in terms of their visual weight. And you're gonna start to tweak that a little bit. For example, going back to this rug again, it's kind of busy when you see it in large scale pattern. So I probably would not opt for a glass coffee table. I probably would go with something that's a wooden table, and that's going to kind of temper that large scale on the floor. So you may start with glass. Let's say you selected this rug. You may start with glass, but as you're starting to pull your elements together, you're gonna realize as you look at them that you're gonna make some changes along the way. So that's a really basic way to start the design selection process, and be okay with making changes along the way. You may start with a brushed nickel light fixture, for example, and then as you're pulling your elements together, you realize, you know what, I think an antique brass might warm it up a little more. Pin that, see how it all looks together. You're gonna know, and at the end of the day, it needs to make you happy and no one else, so stick with it. That's it for this episode of Design Dish, and we'll see you next time.